guys, how are you? I hope you're well. My name is Wanyiha Jean Dutz, and I'm doing this journey, the altars that we are fighting. And like I've said in a few videos, that these altars didn't afflict just our families, but it's in most of your families, okay? Some people have done the journey because they are maybe generations ahead and they've come into their blessings. Now, when the children come into blessings, God, gives them a wisdom to keep avoiding all these problems, yeah? So the Israelites used to say, if you read in Jeremiah, let me just refer. So this is in Ezekiel 18 and from verse 2, and in Jeremiah 31:29, also I think somewhere in Exodus or Deuteronomy, yeah? The Israelites used to have a saying like this: the parents have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth are set on edge. What does that mean? It is the same thing in Exodus 20, that because the parents were disobedient, the curses of the Lord reached the children up to the third and fourth generations, yeah? I don't know whether that means that some in the third generation can find redemption, but for us, what I've been able to follow is just 4 generations, yeah? Now, I do understand that for the fourth generation, for the fourth generation behind to be afflicted, my great-great-grandpa, of course, was compromised in some way, and that gave legality for his, for him to come into contact with, certain people, yeah, or one of the wives he married, and that would afflict his loved wife, yeah, and this loved wife's name was called Nduta, okay, and somehow, because of the sacrifices made down the lineage, my name became Nduta, okay? And I remember making a Facebook post at some point when I didn't know all this. I would say on a birthday post, thank you, God, for the parents that you gave me that agreed, because it is an agreement, that agreed to stay hidden so I may come up, okay? I was thinking about the blessings that, wow, God has made a way, and now we are, abroad. And now we are going to come into all these opportunities, yeah? And then, so when I found problems, I was like, why? Am I the one? Because in my journey, I have lost a lot. I have not, fully seen the blessings, yeah? So I was like, it must be me. I'm the problem. It is me. And whoever was looking at me would know it is me who is the problem, yeah? I did not know it, but there were all these altars fighting against me and the marriages in the family, yeah? So we will get to know more about the marriages in my family and yours too. So if you feel tagged, just start to seek God, okay? Just keep praying. Write all the scriptures I tell you. Now the Bible says, and God always said to his people, my people perish for lack of knowledge. What did he make Hosea go through just to prove his point, yeah? So every time God will raise chosen people among his people, okay? So he will choose, he will choose a few people to fight and fill the battle on behalf of the ones who are called. Who are the ones who are called? The tribe of Israel. Who are the tribes of Israel? The righteous, okay? So whenever you accept Jesus, you come into the lineage, because now you become his family. And now you would wonder how you operate on earth, yeah? Doesn't it affect your people? Like when you say these things, doesn't it affect your people? No, because when you accept Jesus, you come into his family. So you are under his protection, yeah? And because he carried the curse on our behalf, we are no longer under a curse. So why am I talking about the curses? Because some people are still in the darkness, yeah? And it is up to the ones that he has chosen to go forth and come and get them, okay? Now, how are these people gotten? How are they delivered, by revelations, okay? Now, these are the revelations. Now, when you see this, because everything has been lying dormant in you, okay? But at the right time, now God awakens his people, the ones who are put in slumber, because their forefathers touched what? Idols, okay? And through idol worship, God cast them, okay? Now, what does idol worship look like? It is the worship of other gods. And in the Israel tribe, yeah, they used to worship gods like Asherah, Dagon, Baal, the council of elders, where when this one speak, they cannot listen to anything else. So they do not allow God in. They do not, they don't follow the laws, because they're thinking we'll just go before the council of elders, okay? And so they will redeem us. They will tell us which rituals to take, and we will be, saved, okay? But due to lack of knowledge, people perish. And now, when the wicked one now, pushes some people to attack you, yeah, as Proverbs 11:9, I hope I find it very fast, says, sometimes I'm not sure what scripture I'll be using, but let's go together to Proverbs 11:9, and it says, with their words the godless destroy their friends, but knowledge will rescue the righteous. Okay, so the sin of witchcraft could be anything from gossip to being attacked, in the spiritual. Okay, and I wanted to share something else in Proverbs. It just escaped me. Yeah. Proverbs 30. So what has been happening to you has been theft, yeah? Theft of any blessing that you could ever come to. You touch something, it is stolen. You may not know the pain, but I do. Everything I've touched has been taken away. Even the things that I was working so hard to, dedicated to keep them for my family, yeah? So that when they come here, because I thought the idea of being a pioneer is just working so hard, establishing a thing, so that the people who come behind you now find something established. Because I had gone in and out of the institutions, and I know like some of my family are afraid, like how do you cope there? So I was like, no, you will come and enter the family business, okay? So that is what I'm setting up. So help me God. That was taken too, okay? So unless you deal with the altars in your family until God says, now these are broken, my friend, there'll be a long journey, okay? And that is why you're going through what you're going through. Proverbs 30:6. Proverbs 30. Is it Proverbs 30:6? No, it is Proverbs 6:30, okay? And it says, even before I get there, nobody minds when a thief steals to satisfy his stomach, okay? But when he is caught, okay? Now let's read it. Excuses might be found for a thief who steals because he is starving. But if he is caught, he must pay back 7 times what he stole, even if he has to sell everything in his house. Okay, what does that mean? Now the thief may steal in the secret, yeah, perhaps when people are sleeping, when people are not aware, when people are away from home, yeah, they break into your house. Do you know how violating that is? So perhaps they'll still set a table for themselves and eat, yeah, in a very weird scenario, yeah. Have you ever heard of thieves who broke in just to eat? Anyway, they take what they need and they go, right? But if they make it a habit and one day the owner of the house makes a trap for them and they are caught, they will pay everything back, even if it costs him everything he has. But it has to be not less than 7 times over for everything that he stole, okay? So that is a lot for a thief to give back. And you may wonder, okay, so the witches and everyone, yeah, and they are found to be stealing from somebody, yeah, all these witches that come together, yeah, and that is why the Bible says the wealth of the wicked will be transferred to the righteous, okay? So these are the ones that had been stealing from you in the secret place, and you didn't know, because 1, you were in slumber, 2, you lacked knowledge, so that even when you are attacked by your neighbor, through knowledge shall you escape. Through knowledge shall the just escape, okay? So the just will never harm you. They will even feel sorry for you. Like people are feeling sorry for this lady I'm talking about, yeah? These people enjoyed my husband's services like he was a Jacob for 7 years, yeah? When we came, it didn't take a month for them to give us up on us, command us around, discuss us. And I didn't even tell you, when the mom came to bring that meat and I was cooking for her, she was touching my bum, and I could tell what they discussed, like, there's no bum here. What they didn't know, that in my journey, when I realized that, oh my God, I am made like my grandma, and now I understood her pain, I realized all this time, because God did not give me stature, he gave me the strength to fight for all these women in the family, okay? And so I do it with pride, and God has made me, beautiful in his own eyes, yeah? So I'm not just vainly beautiful. I cannot use my beauty to just, show off in this world. What I can do is become like the Proverbs 31 woman, where beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord, what shall happen? I don't know why I couldn't quote that. Beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised, okay? And eventually, even your children and your husband call you what? Blessed, okay? And now, the wives need to know, even though maybe childbearing, maybe all these problems that you had to fight, because you do not marry just a man, you marry the spiritual situation of his family. And that is why you go somewhere, I'm carrying a blessing, I'm so smart, I'm so this, I'm so that. But since I met with this person, even though I love them so much, I keep feeling like I'm going down. What is wrong? You brought in your altars, you've come into some altars. That is actually what attracted you, yeah? So this is not love. Whatever is attracting the two of you is not love until it goes through the testing, okay? Gold does not become gold until it has gone through the fire, all right? And so with that, on that note, we enter Orlando, and in the morning I go to the church. I'm so amazed at this church that the next Sunday I go home and I'm like, guys, you're coming with me next Sunday, okay? They love the church and they tell the dad, Baba, we are not leaving you. We go, the third Sunday we go. And so now we join this church. We are a family, and churches abroad are very challenging because people just go. If it's summer, people just go for vacation. They go somewhere else, yeah? So we stay in that period. These people do not know it, but the whole time I'm planning to go back to Canada, okay? The agreement with my husband was that I'm coming for just 1 month rest, and then I go back to Canada because he didn't like his job because it was a lot, yeah? He was going through a lot. So the agreement was, because he is here, I will go back, work, and get a job that will give me a permanent residence, yeah? Not just me, but the whole family, because from what we can see, the States, the job is just not so giving, okay? So we go back to what is familiar, okay? So I feel like this is such an honor. I will take it, and I will go, and I will not come back until I get this permanent residence, okay? That's it. So I will do the honorable thing. I will make a sacrifice. And because we had been trained in the war of separation, there's no problem. I can do this, okay? So it comes to a point where that happens. But before, because I thought I would stay a month, sometimes I would even negotiate with the guy like, all right, just stay here and get the papers. But this guy, whatever he was going through at work was not good at all. So he was like, now what is the future like? Yeah, we have to find a way to go back. And he was even applying into, some institutions in Canada. Yeah, but whenever he tried, he would not get a job. Yeah, that sounds wild. Yeah, but he wouldn't. So as I'm staying here, I don't know why, but somehow we get docile. I don't apply for the employment card, of course, because we haven't agreed on that. But I don't apply on any other job. We're just enjoying each other's company, going places and everything. And before we know it, it's been it's going to 2 months, yeah? The whole time, I've just been listening to my Kikuyu music. Just getting so much wisdom, being entertained, being amazed. Like, these are our people. How did they accept, to just stay in the language and just know it and express it, even sing it, At the same time, God has sent me teachers for the season, okay? So I'm from listening to Ruth Wamoyo, partly, and Minister Kevin Ewing, okay? Mark those names, you will need them, okay? So in this place, God introduces T.D. Jakes, okay? Now, I had listened to T.D. Jakes, his emotions, yeah? And he was teaching about what men go through. Now, if you know T.D. Jakes, he's gifted in speech, okay? So this man can speak, and when he expresses, especially on behalf of something he has gone through, on behalf of men, about something he's been through, it just hits you, okay? So God is, has put that mantle on him. I had listened to Emotion in Kenya, and I would be like, oh my God, I don't know how my husband stayed, but I'm such in awe, okay? Because now I see what men go through. Now I realize this. I had not gone through, I had not grown with men around me, okay? So this is the first person I'm living with, and I'm like, no, I do not understand these colors, but the bond was quite strong, okay? It was, I think, from the people observing us, maybe perhaps people didn't even think we fight, yeah? But we were dealing with a lot, and including poverty. So that was an extreme test. That one just tested us to the, too much, yeah? And we would try so many things, yeah? Mostly me, because this guy was set on studying, and studying he did up to the time, he got his breakthrough, yeah? So God will give you a rod. Check what is on your hand, okay? And I was doing the cooking thing. At first, just so happy to serve my husband. And then later, I have to do it as business because nothing seems to give, okay? So, I'm listening to DJX and thinking, oh my God, so this is what my husband was going through. And now God gives me the spirit of calmness, okay? So whatever is going on, and a lot was going on, yeah? This guy didn't understand. He didn't, it's like all the trauma of these 7 years. It's like God kept him going until now when I entered this abroad, yeah? So it's like, I'm not understanding your living work, all these things, yeah? When I say, oh, I've trekked somewhere, it is so hard, this place is so bad. It's like, yeah, now you know, okay? And I'm like, I can't blame you. I understand what you went through, yeah? So I'm listening, yeah? And so whenever we have wrangles, whenever he commands that something will go this way, I'm like, yes, sir, of course, I agree. Where? You want to send me where? I will go, okay? So I'm listening to TD Jakes, and he's just enriching me so much. I don't remember any other teacher I was listening to at that point, yeah? But I'm sure there were others too. And music, just playing music until, it tires everyone, yeah? And so I start dreaming, okay, at some point. So God will do that whenever you reach a new place, okay? And I dream that, on one occasion that... it's like I went to pick my husband somewhere, and he was living with all these women. It's like a hostel, yeah? So it's like a hostel with all these beds, and I'm like, ooh, what kind of a situation is this? Who are all these people surrounding you? And they were like, even the ladies were telling me, oh, we have to live like this. This is the only way we can afford, okay? And they were also engaged with their own men. So he's packing, and we are like, okay, bye. I've picked him, now we are going, okay? And so we go through streets that look like Dandora, around light industries, yeah? And so we cross the road once we get to the road. And we cross, like we are seeing the skies are like Orlando, yeah? So it's like we are looking, and then there's grass. As soon as we cross the road, there's grass there. And so we lie there and rest, okay? Now, I'm using this dream so that you will recognize whatever dreams you get. You will know anyway, because your spirit is being sharpened each and every day, okay? You will realize you've actually been dreaming over a long time. You just didn't know. But write your dreams. My dreams are now connecting all through the years, yeah? I wish I had written them all, and well too. Document them well too. Okay, so anyway, we find this grass and we lie on it. We fall deeply asleep, okay? Now we are walking by, if you're Kenyan and you live around, been around a roundabout, as it was in the olden days, there were some matatus painted green that were passing there, yeah? And so they come noisily and they're banging, going like 20, 20, 20, 20. And we wake up and we know we are not taking a matatu. We are crossing to the other side and just walking, okay? So we cross and we walk. And I realized all this time I didn't have shoes, okay? Now, shoes in a dream represent marriage and other things, depending on what situation you are in and what God is trying to tell you, yeah? In mine, it was marriage. Like, we did have this thing, okay? And I'll tell you that in one of my dreams, yeah? I will not tell you the totality of it, but in one of my dreams, there are some girls I could see only from the torso down. One is so tall, even if I look, I can't see her face. And the other one is, I can just see from waist down, yeah? So they capture me somewhere and they take away some coins I held in my hands, including a very precious coin, yeah? It's tiny, but I knew that is very precious, okay? So they snatch and they give it to someone, and this lady would not give it back. Yeah, in fact, when I told her I really don't have fare, she gave me some other coins. Yeah, and so we continue moving, and I already know I'm empowered. Yeah, like, no, I'm overpowered. Yeah, and so as we go, they take a tiny album of mine I have that has wedding pictures, and they throw it in the gutter. Okay, so the dream ends as I'm going into the gutter to get what? My photo album, and I'm praying to God that this gutter water doesn't get into my photos. Now, some people will dream that something of theirs is buried. Okay, both, you know, or like in the case where my husband fell into a swamp. Okay, but all this mean that your marriage is affected, okay, or whatever you hold dear. So I'm like, wow, she just did that, and she could. Yeah, so they trashed my wedding pictures, and in so doing, they've trashed my marriage. Yeah, so that is how it was afflicted. But it's like they could, because they snatched it away. This album, I don't even know where they got it. Yeah, so anyway, the dream ends as I'm trying to retrieve it, yeah, or as I have a mind to retrieve. So we are walking, and I'm like, let me get Tosh's shoes, my child's shoes. I will wear them, even though the strap, I noticed that one strap is, has cut, yeah. So I'm like, I will wear this, and when we get to where we are going, I will repair the shoe, okay? Now, I don't know yet where we are going, because we don't even know what the future holds. But I'm like just walking beside hubby. Now, if you are sharp, you know already that I was with this man by the graces of the children. We were together at this point because of the children, okay? But now we are working together for the betterment of our family. Everything we are doing is because we want to save our family, okay? So that is one of the dreams. And now I didn't know it then, but it was God showing the deliverance, okay? That you have left one place, and now he showed me that in this place, Orlando, we had just come to rest, okay? It doesn't look like it. Hubby doesn't feel like it, but yeah, it's like a 2-year rest, yeah. And so he's taken this job, but it is supposed to be a resting place, not a dwelling place, okay? So I hope that is helpful. Depending on especially the places people are going, you know, moving to, when you know that God has brought you himself abroad, that he fought for you, fought for your visas, you better be asking him, where do you want me to go next? What is next? Okay? And he will show you, even though he shows in part. Okay? So whenever he shows, write that vision down, because in Habakkuk it says the vision is for a set time. Okay? It's not when you see it. It's not like that you decide, oh, today I'll go live in Orlando. No. The vision is given. You note it. Okay? And now, when the set time comes, the vision will happen. And though it tarries, meaning even if it takes long, wait for it. Now, I used to think that until it became a pattern, I used to think God would take so long to deal with our circumstances. But then I see it's been 7 years, 7 years, 7 years. So that was the intention, for it to be 7 years. So find your numbers. Now, in the Agikuyu and Ameru, numbers that govern their society, because there is that. If you're gifted, you can dig deeper. The Ameru operate in 7 years, okay? The Agikuyu operate in 8, in that they put so much, meaning into the, beginning, yeah? The 8th year, where it all begins. But the 7th year, according to the Leviticus 25, is where now they're given instructions on what to do on this resting time, okay? So for so many people, they say, oh, it's been 7 years now, things are turning around for me. No, that is an end of a period, okay? When something ends, now the next thing is that another begins, okay? And so another will begin on the 8th year, or the 8th number, and on the 9th, something is born, okay? There's a year of birthing, all right? So this thing that you've been carrying on the 9th year, 9 months, 9 days, whatever, it is birthed, yeah? And then on the 10th, it is now these two, the future and the past, now coming together to form double digits, okay? So another beginning of a thing. 1 plus 0 is 1, okay? Now it comes together, forms a double digit. 11 is where you find spiritual help from everywhere. And that is why there's a certain period I've seen a lot of prophets prophesying with the number 1111. So they're saying if you're just going without intending, but you look at the oven light, it's 1111. You look at the microwave, whatever you see that's showing 1111, then you know you're close to your time. Yeah. And then there's 12, that means completion of all these things. Okay, so number 7 doesn't mean a thing until you come to this. Okay, it means that it's a completion. Yeah, now this is an ending on a higher level. Okay, and then now you come to 13, that I honestly I don't know the meaning, never have looked at it. And then 14 is double completion. Okay, so it's like you've done 7 and 7, so double completion of a thing. And now you will see it in, like for us, we saw it when we went to Canada. The house number was number 14. Okay, so double completion. Okay, so yeah, I hope I'm helping with these interjections. Yeah, so this dream was a prophecy that we will go there and rest, and then we would leave at some point. Okay, now I would see other dreams, some of which I cannot share, but they also involve the people that you have left behind. Yeah, because that does happen. It's like a residue. You leave Kenya, and when you come to another place, you find that you're dreaming that you're back in Kenya, and you're so confused. It's like the way you find success and then you dream of an impending downfall or setback by seeing yourself in like a primary school, and you already completed university. Okay, but it also means a test. So in all these things that you see, you should not be afraid. Okay, just go to the mercy seat, ask what it is. The Bible says in Jeremiah, is it 33:3? Call unto me, and I will show you great and mighty things that you do not know. So whatever you do not know, you ask the Lord. Okay, all right. So in Orlando, and it ends up being 3.5 months. By that time, Habi has tried all he can. Yeah, he's at the point where now he's frustrated. Yeah, the kids went back to school in August, so he intended for them to go to school there, and Michael decided to go back to Canada. Now I will tell you something about Michael. When he was born in my home. Okay, and it's through him that the people now who fight for their children, yeah, where their land, the children belong to the men, yeah, came and claimed him and made, compromises with the family so that this child would be named in the Meru family. Okay, now by doing that, this child brought us together in marriage. Okay, because otherwise by ourselves we were talking about him going away to school, me working and taking care of my child. Yeah, and it's like I trusted this guy to just do the right thing over the years. Yeah, but I wasn't thinking of a marriage. Okay, but now we were bound together even when we didn't expect it. Okay, so for some chosen one, you'll see like it's like you never get to make the decisions of over your life. It's made for you. Okay, so whatever the devil means for evil, early pregnancies, all this, and you think, oh, I'm cursed. This happens because, yes, you are under a curse, because ideally marriage should be approached a different way. But remember, even in the Old Testament, whenever you knew a girl, and by knowing, you know what I mean, it would be that is your wife. Okay, so without a marriage celebration, because some of these things are adopted, that is your wife. Okay, and so that is how I came into the Meru family. Now, Mike had insisted that he will go back to Canada so that he goes to his dad's school. Yeah, and so it would be so strenuous to us. We were like, that is expensive and everything. And his brother would keep telling him, Mike, I see you going to a school in a red college. Yeah, like red, the brick building. Yeah. And so we saw one, and, Tosh was like, that is the college I saw you go into. And he was like, please don't play with me. He is focused. Yeah. What I didn't know, it was that my son was being sent ahead of me. Okay. And so I will tell you about this later. Actually, I think I've already made that video and I didn't, include all of this. But when I went back to Canada, there was a place I was working, yeah? And there was no way, we had no intention of coming back, to the US apart from visiting, because we had agreed I'll be coming back and forth to take care of the kids, yeah? So Mike being in this place, yeah, seemed like he's establishing new roots in St. John's. But I think I mentioned at some point that, no, I think that is a lost files, yeah? When we left Canada, in the plane, we all sat on aisle seats, okay? And so I was looking outside to see how do I leave this city, because I had realized that's a thing, yeah? So I'm looking, the people want to shut the windows, and I'm like, no, just wait for a little bit. And so I'm looking outside and I see this smoke enveloping the city, and I can just see the rooftops, and then it's like the smoke just covered the rooftops, and we entered the clouds, yeah? So with that, I knew this place is closed, yeah, for us, yeah? So Mike insisting to go back, it is because he has penetrative powers, okay? So he was able to go there and just, establish himself in Canada again, okay? Because this place, we didn't know it, but we would not be able to stay. And so I come in, 3.5 months later, but in one of the dreams I was dreaming in this place of rest, okay? Remember the journey of Abraham, he would set altars. Whenever he rested somewhere, he would set altars, okay? And so when Jacob was doing his journey back to the uncle, he would sleep like in one of these altars. I think a place called Luz. I always used to think it's Mamre. But anyway, he slept here and he had a dream, and God was reassuring him that the promise I kept to your forefathers is still going to stand, even though Jacob was going where? Into slavery, okay? Because he had tricked his brother, he had to go into slavery, yeah? So you can get a blessing and not be able to exercise it until you exercise it, okay? So you work for it, okay? Nothing. When you steal, you cannot operate. You can operate, you can try to operate with it and it will look like you're prospering, but you lose it all, yeah? Or spend a lot of time paying, okay? So anyway, this guy, goes back, okay, to where we've just redeemed ourselves from. But it's all right. So he stays there. I will tell you about something that was happening and had to happen before I leave the place, yeah. Now, you know how Job, spent a time with his friends, yeah. And they were like telling him all these things that you caused this to happen to you. You must have been arrogant. You must have sinned in some ways, yeah. So people who persecute you and just, assume that you've done wrong, even when you know you're righteous, yeah? So he's trying to defend his righteousness, and he cannot, yeah? Sometimes you're surrounded by friends like that, okay? Now, before you step into a blessing, God will make you pray for your friends, yeah? Because you know how hard it's been, you want to give them, to pass on the grace, yeah? For the people you leave behind. That happened to me in Kenya. I was made to pray for the friends who are surrounding me, and didn't quite understand what marriage was about, okay? And so I would do that faithfully. I did. So even when we are apart, I know that they are covered, yeah, by the prayers God made me pray. So along the way, God would make me go pray for this lady that we left in St. John's, okay? And though it was hard, yeah, I was actually just listening to Ruth Wamoyo talking about praying. And remember, these people that you're meeting with, these people who are your giants sometimes, these people who try you sometimes, these people who can be hypocritical around you sometimes, these same people that God might tell you to break off sometimes, are still his children, okay? So Jesus commanded that we should pray for those we consider our enemies. And it so happens that sometimes even when wives come around somebody who was a competition, they quite understand her better than anyone else, yeah? They understand the pain, yeah, of, connecting with this person and having to, lose him in a way, yeah? So it is quite difficult, and there's always, this fighting back, yeah? Only a wife, only that wife will understand, yeah? So God makes me pray for her and my husband and forgive, because even though I understand, it is still painful. It is very painful. I have gone through shame and all of this, yeah? I have been accused of things I didn't do, but I understand. And again, wasn't I this person in the time past when I didn't understand, okay? So you do not come into legality, because whatever you do, it shall be done to you, okay? Now I know better. Now I've come to another ground, and each ground has new devils and also new graces, okay? So I pray and I forgive. It is very difficult, but I do. But just realize this: just because you forgive doesn't mean that now God will not deal with her. By forgiving, you actually give her back to God, yeah? And now he deals with her to make her, okay? Because in Jeremiah, God sends Jeremiah to the potter's house, yeah? And he finds this potter making a pot, okay? And then he sees this potter destroy the pot. That is what happens to you sometimes. The way God made you, you have been compromised. It's not working. This vessel is not how he wants it. So he remakes you. And Jeremiah watches as this man makes the pot again. Yeah. And so God was giving him an example of what he would do with Israel. And you see him again now using in Isaiah 54, saying, afflicted city, I will remake you. I will make you a new building. Yeah. On these ruins, upon these ruins shall stand a new building with, stones of turquoise, stronger material, yeah? So you see that, yeah? And so it's also just like the way Moses spent time before God, made, God fashioned for him all these tablets containing the 10 commandments. But when he comes down, because these people have sinned, what does he do? He crushes them and they break. And God tells him, now come back. You will have to do them on your own because what I made first, you broke, yeah? So when you destroy what God had given you, when you destroy your grace, your favor, when you destroy everything that you did not cherish, you will pay, okay? Everything also that you did not cherish, you will lose, okay? So walk placidly, it says, among people, all right? I've not always done that. So I'm coming from your future to tell you, stop what you're doing if it's wrong. Follow Christ, okay? Yeah, so I pray and I forgive them, yeah, and I feel better, I feel relief, and I feel like I've let go again, just like I let go when I was in Kenya, okay? So my hands are empty. It is in God's hands now, okay? Then now, after some time, and I did the prayer for a while, after some time, God now tells me, claim everything that was stolen from your grandmother. So from this, because of what the sin was done before, my grandma was afflicted, yeah? And she was innocent because she married into this family, not knowing what is hidden in the secret, okay? So she comes in as a young wife and she's so afflicted that now she ends up afflicting her children, yeah? Or whatever this thing is that is afflicting, the curse goes to her children and her children's children, yeah? Up to the 3rd and 4th generation, okay? And so because grandma was innocent, all these things were stolen from her hands. Okay, so she was manipulated, she was stolen from. God could not have it, okay? And in his time, he makes all things beautiful. I don't know how he comforted grandma. I always wonder, does she know what is happening? I pray that she is restored, but she is, okay? Because the Spirit of the Lord is upon, us, okay? So in his own time, I don't know how he deals with it, but he does, yeah, to restore. And when your children's children, who are your own, come into blessing, then your work is done, okay? Because we only do what we can in our lifetime, yeah? If you do good, you will be blessed. And so this blessing goes into the generation. Guys, do you see how important family is? Do you see why God fights for you? Do you see why you should not come into agreement with evil, okay? You are so important, first of all. The man you marry is so important. And so are the children you get, yeah? Ideally, life should be like Psalms 128, where this man's work is blessed because the children of Israel come into our marriages with a blessing, okay? You don't have to go chasing it, yeah? You already have it in your hand. Now, whatever you make is supposed to be blessed, and it's supposed to go not only to the regular people, but even to the kings. Whatever you do with your hands is what will bring you before the kings. The kings, yeah? So you're supposed to be lifted and your blessings should be from one level to another, from one glory to another. But no, a thief will come and steal from you. No qualms, okay? So ideally, this man who fears the Lord is blessed, okay? Now his wife, just by being under him in his home, is blessed. She's like a fruitful grapevine, okay? And the children, they are like olive shoots around his table, which means this man gets to sit with his family and eat together. How beautiful is that? Okay, so your toil is not day and night. It's not like this American thing we are doing. You work so hard just to get something, and for, you know, you're forever in scrubs. And now if you take one picture on Sunday when you're going to church, everybody's like, she's rich, but she doesn't care about her people. No, you're breaking altars. When you're set free, when freedom comes, the whole generation will be blessed, okay? So a scripture just came into my mind, and it left. Something like, may you have mercy on Jerusalem. It has gone, okay? And so even you who is feeling guilty, Psalms 40 says, comfort my, Jerusalem. Twice have your sins been paid for, okay? So employ that. Employ scripture, guys. Through knowledge shall the just be, shall the just escape, okay? And so, yeah, so once, I don't even know what I'm doing, but once I've claimed until it is done, I've claimed my grandma's, everything that was stolen from her. Suddenly, I've been looking for work in Canada. I'm thinking, where can I go? Please, God, send me a word. Where will I go? So I tell husband, I've been looking for work in all these places. And he says, no, here it's so expensive. Here it's too far from here. You know, all this. It's like he's eliminating. But he tells me, some of the friends I knew would finish studying in Canada, in St. John's, and just move over to New Brunswick. We didn't know it then, but New Brunswick is just across the border from this place, okay? So it's like a 6-hour drive straight. You just use one route going all the way, okay? And so we didn't know what God was doing because he only shows in part. And he does that so that you may have faith, yeah? But now you guys have the privilege because now you have the scriptures, and also now you have somebody's whole story. I know it doesn't make, life easier, but at least you have a clue. When God is quiet, you know what he's doing. And let me tell you, sometimes God is only quiet because he is watching you. What have you learned? Are you practicing faith? Okay. Do you, just look around and think, oh my God, everybody else is doing, so good. They are on your path. Are you in yours? And so, I don't even remember the date I left. I left crying. I think November 20th or something. Yeah. Because I was there while they processed my papers, and it takes about 2 months. Yeah, all I'm saying, I think I had said it in the other video, so I don't know what I'm missing. I applied for a job in New Brunswick, and that is the only place that responded. Yeah, and so with my new job offer, I just went to New Brunswick. Okay, and so I just want to give you a spoiler alert. This was God now exchanging our roles, yeah, because we didn't know how things had been for the other person, yeah. Now I was going to rent, those 2 rooms in Canada and live how my husband used to live, and he was going to be left with kids that he has to raise, watch, yeah. And the other person's role was not easy, okay? So sometimes you may think, I'm going through so much. He's only, enjoying life. Nope. You're supposed to now see, okay? And that is what God did. I'll tell you more on the next one, what happened in Canada, in the Dieppe, yeah? All right, so bye-bye.